Welcome to another 80/20 question of the week. My name is Tim Francis, creator of the 80/20 Challenge. This week's question of the week is, what single number would have to change in your business, and by how much, for you to say this year was a smash success? Now there's a trick here. You can't say sales. Sales are not all created equal for three main reasons. Number one is Pell clients, number two is refunds and disappointed customers, and number three is margin. Around the time that I attended the Richard Koch Perry Marshall event in Chicago, I had a few clients in a few different industries. One of the industries in particular was a very tough industry to be in, and my clients in that industry oftentimes were pretty tough to work with. Very short deadlines. Even though I requested things to be different in how the projects were managed, it never changed, and it was generally just very, very exhausting. When I thought about growing that business, having twice as many sales in that industry with twice the number of clients that all seem to have a similar kind of way about them, I just went, I absolutely do not want that business. And that was the first time that it really dawned on me that not all sales are created equal. In fact, Joe Polish talks about something called ELF, easy, lucrative, fun. And he only wants clients who satisfy all three of those criteria. The second reason that not all sales are created equal is refunds and disappointed customers. Around 2007, 8, 9, the North American car manufacturers were really trying to catch up with Toyota. Not only did Toyota have a far superior product, Toyota also had a far more profitable business operation. The North American solution, though, wasn't to improve operations or quality. Their solution was to come up with a better offer. And so we started seeing employee pricing coming out, 0% financing, which did indeed help with sales, but because they hadn't satisfied any of their quality or operational issues, they just had more of the exact same headaches and got themselves into just more trouble. Not all sales are created equal. The third way that I've seen this be true is in my own company. About a year ago, in approximately October of 2015, I did an 80/20 analysis of where Profit Factory was making its money. And at the time, it was pretty much just Sarah and I in the company. And I realized that well over 80% of the revenue was coming from me doing consulting in client companies. Now, I was not upset about that or sad. I was incredibly honored to have the opportunity to be a part of so many companies' success stories and to make such a big difference for them. That I was not at all sad about. In fact, I was very happy and honored to do that. What I noticed, though, was if I continued to grow Profit Factory as kind of a solo consultancy with a solid right-hand wing woman in Sarah, if I continued going that way, that I would probably end up doing a lot of consulting hours. And I wanted to get out of being the bottleneck for our company revenue. As I kind of thought through, and I'll show you a few examples here, as I thought through some of our options, I realized that not all sales are created equal. So let's do a very quick bit of knowledge here. When we've got sales at the top and then we have to take out our cost of goods sold, we're left with something called gross profit. Then we take out overhead and taxes, etc., and we're left with net profit, or the all-famous bottom line. So an example of COGS, if you've got an e-commerce company, would be the cost of your hard product. So you might sell $1,000, then you have to go and pay $400 to your Chinese manufacturer, and that there is gross profit. If you've got an information business, you might have a $500,000 launch, then you have to go pay all your affiliates, and you also have to pay for any PPC advertising that you may have done related to selling, and then you're left with gross profit. Then from there comes your overhead, taxes, etc., and you're left with the bottom line net profit. So when I took a look inside of Profit Factory, I realized that although consulting was high dollar value and had very little COGS, therefore a lot of gross profit, the problem was the bottleneck was me. So that was the turning point where I realized that our single number was non-consulting, and not sales, but gross profit. Non-consulting gross profit. Looking at our different options, I realized that there's a few different ways we could go. We could go and sell a whole bunch of Kolbe tests, which is definitely non-consulting, but the problem is there's not very much margin. We don't make or keep really much money at all out of Kolbe tests. So then I thought about the 80-20 Summit. Maybe we could just focus on scaling that up. That seemed appealing, although the 80-20 Summit happens only once per year, and I don't like the idea of my business riding on one single sales effort per year. I know some people operate that way and they're successful at it. For me, I just don't know if it's the business that I want. So what other options did I have? I took a look at all the consulting that I'd ever done, and I realized that whatever I chose had to be at the intersection of three forces. And this is where Great Assistant was born. We realized that there was big demand for helping people to get an assistant. We realized there's good margin in doing it. And also, you can't quite see it here, but it says, Tim would not be the bottleneck. Said differently, I knew that I could teach my way of finding great assistants to team members that we'd hire, and they could go and execute the service on behalf of Profit Factory. And we've since done that. We've hired a teammate, Nancy, who's now overseeing all of that. We knew that Great Assistant would satisfy all three of these, and that is where we've put so much of our time, energy, and money in 2016 now, is into Great Assistant for these reasons. At the end of the day, we realized that Great Assistant would probably be the right way to address this issue of building our non-consulting, so this is without Tim doing consulting, non-consulting gross profit. Big enough margins need to be there for us to make this single number work. I can thank the Great Game of Business for giving me a lot of insight into this idea of a single number. They call it a critical number. And it's really masterful how you can then take your critical number, not only coach your whole team and get everybody thinking in the same direction, but also build things like your bonus program off of that single number, as well as your dashboard of metrics that you're watching week in and week out as the year progresses. If you feel tempted to have a second number, if you're like, oh, I just can't pick between these two numbers, my recommendation, and again, I can thank Great Game of Business for this, is that one of your numbers be on the income statement, so something related to revenue and expenses, and the other number be on your balance sheet, notably assets, things that you own, liabilities that you have, including possibly debts, and then the net worth of the company or the equity in the company. For us right now, it's non-consulting gross profit, which is an income statement item. And my second number is actually to pay down a little bit of debt this year, which would make me feel like we're moving forward. Ultimately though, the 80-20 question of the week is, what is the single most important number? Just one. And said one last time, it is, what single number would have to change in your business, and by how much, for you to say that this year has been a smash success? And it can't be sales. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to hearing about your answers inside of the Facebook group. My name is Tim Francis, creator of the 80-20 Challenge. Onwards and upwards for yet another week.